Hey guys, NSC Schizo here with Game Grunts coming at you with another Fallout 76 video, and this episode I wanted to cover the Fallout 76 Inside the Vault, introducing the 2020 roadmap and the 76 experience. There's going to be a lot of changes coming with these updates. As you guys probably already know, you signed on to Fallout 76 today and more than likely already seen the roadmap, but I just wanted to go through it in this video and maybe break it down a little bit more, because honestly, when I was looking on it through it out on my console, I didn't really get a great description until I came here to the Fallout 76 Inside the Vault and really started reading through more of it. And so hopefully this will help you guys out just a little bit more in the aspects of what's to come for the roadmap this year. All right. Now, like I said, as soon as you log in to Fallout 76, one of the first things you're going to see is obviously the roadmap and all the things that the roadmap has to offer. It's been broken down into exactly 3 sections. You have the summer, which we're just coming up onto right now. As you can see, the Fashnacht event is featured inside of that category, and we are just literally days away from the Fashnacht event at this point. So definitely be looking out for all that content. Come after summer comes fall, as we all know, and in the fall is when some huge changes are actually coming to Fallout 76 Appalachia in some really big ways in storyline and actual changes as far as the way the game actually works and leveling and all that. And then of course the winter, which the long-awaited Brotherhood of Steel will finally be prominent in Appalachia. And so a lot of you I know are probably super excited about this roadmap, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and break this down. Now let's go into the summer category, because that's what's coming up next. Obviously you have what is called the seasons portion. It's this board game. It's a cosmic board game. It's a a stab at those old cosmic comic books back in the day and board games. As you can see, the man with the ray gun and the monkey on the rocket, and behind him you see the board game. And the board game is actually apparently will be logging on to our menus, and from the menu you'll be able to access the board game. You will have points that you receive. There's some sort of currency that they're gonna allot us to be able to spend on being able to progress through the board game. And the board game itself will actually be available to all players, and everyone will have an equal progression system through that board game for the first 2 weeks of that season. And then after that, apparently you'll be able to spend atom points to help yourself if maybe you missed some of that, or maybe if you just didn't feel like grinding. I don't know, for whatever reason, after 2 weeks people will be able to spend atom points on that. So they are going to allow players that don't want to spend money on the game to progress through this system, and I think that is a beautiful idea. And even if you want to kind of couple those two things together, playing a long time and maybe spending some money on some atoms, possibly get yourself all the way through all 100 tiers each season. There's going to be a lot of cosmetic items for your guns, for your character, for your armors, for your power armor, not to mention different currencies like caps, treasury notes, bullion, all sorts of different rewards that are going to be coming out of that. So I'm super excited about that part of the summer season portion of the roadmap. To me, that just says that Bethesda is finally paying attention to what their player base wants. They obviously seen that did well in the nuclear portion of the game, so they're transferring that over to the PvE portion of the game. And so I really appreciate that from their team. It's something that I definitely want to get my hands on sooner than later. So I'm just upset it's not here today. You know what I mean? So after that comes legendary perk cards. Now guys, I've been talking a little bit about this on my channel and some of my previous videos. Legendary perk cards are essentially just after level 50, apparently, from what I hear, it's going to be every 50 levels. I'm not willing to die on that hill. Maybe it's every 10 levels. I don't know what Bethesda actually goes through with. From what I hear, it will be every 50 levels we will gain another legendary perk card, in which case we could apply that to our build, and that will make us that much stronger, possibly in certain areas. I don't know if these are going to be applied to our special at all. I think it's going to be outside of our special. We're going to have certain cards that we could throw down alongside our regular deck, because essentially when you're playing the game special, you're actually playing a card game, and in which it gives you throw down certain cards, which give you certain you know advantages in battle, which what most of those games are about. So I kind of like this idea. Definitely was looking for some sort of legendary perk card situation from them. I've played ESO before, and I know that that's not the same exactly. It's kind of different entities of the company but obviously they communicate, and this seems to me kind of to be what they did with the ESO. They had you leveled up, and once you got to a certain level, you leveled up to your champion status, and then your champion points came into play, and the amount of champion points obviously made you stronger. Some players got the godlike status because of the amount of champion points they have and the way that they kind of laid those out. And so obviously this is some sort of homage to that sort of a system, obviously in the Fallout 76 aspect, where they kind of pull it into the perk cards, and I like this idea a lot. This to me is exciting. I definitely want to get my hands on some of these cards, and I'm level 2 and change, so I'm hoping I just get a couple cards right off the bat. And for some of you higher level players, maybe you just boom get those levels that you had, everything after 50, it'll all go in retroactively, and you'll get all those perk cards at once. Thumbs up for that, right? Hopefully that's the case. If you guys think that's the case, leave a like on the video, okay? Now after that comes public teams. Now public teams is easy. Find teams with ease. I think this is going to be a queuing system. All MMOs. This is a light MMO. I know a lot of people don't agree with Fallout 76 being called an MMO, but this is a light MMO in my opinion, and because of that, all MMOs have to have some sort of queuing system where you can find groups and play with other people that are interested in kind of tackling the same type of objective you're tackling. Maybe that be a dungeon, or maybe that be community events or PvP, whatever it may be. The public teams, I think, is going to be the answer to all that. So we'll be able to queue up in a menu to maybe do a certain vault raid together, or I just want to run around and do replayable missions today, or I'm going around and I'm only doing workbenches today. Whatever the case may be, there's going to be some sort of menu where you can go in and pick through certain different activities where other people also want to do the same activity. Now after that is the colossal problem. Now the colossal problem is just the community event that will be added to the game, where there will be a new legendary boss. The Wendigo Colossus will be obviously be featured in that event. A lot of people want to kind of see that mob. It's a little bit harder to find for some unexperienced players. For most of you experienced players, I'm sure you've come across and battled this monster, but now he will be a whole lot easier to find, in the sense he will have his own effect, and that seems like a great idea to me, because this thing is just a great mob that's been added to the game. I like fighting it. I think it's screaming defense is just awesome. It fears you immediately, so there is no other mob with the fearing capability in the game. It's something that I like to see. It's it reminds me of other MMOs, and so I like those type of properties being added to the game. I'm sure some players are a little bit aggravated with that, but to me, I think that's the point, is to make you lose control and to give you a sense, of there's a variable being thrown in there. Like, you have to be ready for that moment. So if you're not, you're gonna pay for it. And so I want to see them add more aspects like that to the game. Now, community challenges, they've done this before. They just simply give the entire community an objective to meet, and if the community does meet this objective, then we all get a community reward that's applied to everybody. So I can't wait for that. Those are always fun. A lot of camaraderie in those. Can't wait to see all the pictures of people tackling and helping out with their portions. Okay, Foshnot returns. If you don't know what the Foshnot event is, let me let you know. It's an event where it's obviously a parade of robots that all have masks on, and you get to participate. And the Foshnot event, at the end, you have a chance to win one of the masks that the robots parade themselves around in. And some of the masks, in particular, are pretty hard to get. So a lot of players like to frequent this event to try to get said mask, because everybody wants the most rare things in the game so that they can somehow make them not rare. I don't know. I don't get it. All I'm saying is Foshnot's coming, and if you want a mask, you better look out for that. This year there will be new masks. I'm not sure if some of the old masks will be making a return. I do know that they have a whole new lineup of masks for the Foshnot Festival. I'm going to be doing another video about that where I will do a breakdown on all those different masks that I have uncovered. So if you guys are really interested in the Foshnot, look out for that video here on Game Grunts. And then after that event comes the Meat Week. And that would, everybody knows Meat Week. Graham likes to cook. Meat Week, boom. And so we all get to cook with him. Can't wait to do that. That's actually a pretty fun event, and has some pretty cool recipes that you get a hold of if you weren't here for the last Meat Week. You definitely want to be here for this one. Okay, and so that pretty much caps off the summer portion of the roadmap. And then after that comes the One Wasteland for All fall portion of the roadmap. And obviously the breakdown of that, the most important thing about the fall category is that they are going to be making the entire Appalachian Wasteland one size fits all, in the sense of all the NPCs will at this point scale to your level. Okay, it's going to be a big deal because higher level players and lower level players for the first time will be able to come together in groups and actually play effectively together and experience the game in a whole new way. That's going to just make it a really fun game. They're going to be adding some content in the middle of this that's going to, I think kind of cultivate more group play. And because they added ways to queue up, and they're going to add some new type missions to the game, along with some storyline missions that will include a kind of a ushering in of the Brotherhood of Steel, some prequel missions, if I could say. Steel of Dawn, all new quest line, storyline that we're going to have access to, where I think we're going to be acclimated to the Brotherhood of Steel, and they will be acclimated to us as well. We're all going to have to get used to each other living in the wasteland together. Brotherhood of Steel is no joke, and they're not always easy to get along with. So it's going to depend on what type of character you are and what type of speech checks you can probably pass, if you're going to be able to work with them or not at all. And then after that, obviously daily ops. I think when these missions show up, this is going to bring up the first time we're actually going to be able to replay storyline missions. I honestly think they're going to start to take some of the older missions from Wastelanders and probably allow us to replay those as well. That's an aspect of the game that a lot of people are upset. It kind of seems like you just burn through Wastelanders and you have to start up a whole new other character, and nobody really wants to have to do that all the time. I mean, maybe some people do, not everybody. I kind of like doing it a little bit. I don't mind it so much. I think other players just kind of want to re-experience some of those moments without having to re-roll another character. And I don't blame them at all, seeing as the way the system kind of works for having to re-roll characters and the amount of grinding you have to do and the amount of time that takes away from your main character. Some people don't have that type of time to allot to a video game, and I totally understand why they would want to be able to repay daily ops like that. And so that's also going to add some new sort of scaling system of rewards to the game, some sort of sliding scale. Maybe the more that you participate, the more you can gain, obviously. Gain some sort of points. I don't know if those points will go up or down, how that will work, but they're alluding to something like that here. So I think those two things kind of will be one. The main part of this portion of the roadmap, I think, is the fact that they're making everything pretty much one level, so all players can experience Appalachia. No matter if you're a low level, high level, you could be down the Cranberry Bog or go back up to where, you know, some of those level 1 super mutants kind of hang out. Wait, I think that got taken over by some free radicals. Yeah, you know, the level 1 free radicals in the lumber mill now. So what I'm saying is it's gonna add, you know, it's gonna make it so lower level players can play with higher level players, and it's gonna add replayability to the game in the sense of higher level players, the mobs will now scale to them, and so there will be mobs in the game that will still be considered difficult. Your perks will only last you so long. There will be some mobs in the game that I anticipate will be deadly and strong because of their sheer size and scaling to our level. Okay, now after that comes the season 2 refresh. Now I just believe that this means that they're going to refresh the roadmap to kind of, you know, revitalize. Maybe if they change their minds about certain things, and, you know, kind of, that's not happening anymore, now this is happening, and we'll get an outline of that. So just a refresh on what's going on at that moment to, you know, to better communicate with their audience. I think they're trying to be more transparent here. I see them, you know, trying to answer the call of information, and so I really appreciate that part, definitely. Now after that, you see the bomb drop event. Seems pretty simple to me. We're going to drop nukes like crazy. It's going to be a whole event behind it, and we're probably going to gain more XP and some sort of rewards out of dropping bombs. I'm guessing all the legendaries that drop are probably going to drop some pretty great stuff. And the leveling is going to be all scaled out at that point. And so it's going to be a whole new grind and a whole new system that we're all going to have to get acclimated to. I think it's really going to change the map and the scope and the face of what dropping nuclear bombs and that whole grind looks like. Okay, so definitely be looking out for that content, and when that content does come out, I will have my eye on it, and hopefully I'll be able to find the most effective grinding technique. I already think that's definitely one of the videos I'm going to be having coming out here in the future during the fall. So that's what I'm predicting is going to happen in that section. So I definitely want to keep my eye on that part of the map, because that to me seems like a very important part. The fact that they are rescaling all the levels, and then they're adding an event where they're doing nothing but nukes kind of suggests to me that they're probably going to do something about the legendary grind in this game at that point. I'm just speculating here, but that seems like what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to make everything kind of make sense in a sense of, if you put the work in, you get some sort of reward out of it. Because right now, most players, I think, would agree that system isn't adequate at all. So they're definitely going to do some changes to that. Now, the final portion of the roadmap for 2020 is the winter portion, the fractured steel portion. Now, this is when the Brotherhood of Steel is making its glorious debut full on into Appalachia. Okay, I'm suspecting to see all sorts of blimps and, you know, whirly birds in the air, and, you know, Brotherhood of Steel characters walking around in power armor, standing on tops of piles of junk, and with Gatling lasers everywhere, possibly. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay. This definitely seems like they're making a shift towards that, for that part of just the story. When the storyline's considered, it's all going to be all BOS from that point on in the winter to the end of the winter, it seems like. Okay, and I'm kind of excited. I kind of want to fight them. You know, I'm a raider, and, you know, having to fight raiders and Brotherhood of Steel, natural enemies. So I can't wait to see what all those, you know, new NPCs offer to the game. Are they going to be stronger? Are they going to have more attributes? Are they going to be specialty mobs that you have to kind of, you know, attack in a certain way? So I don't know. We will see. We will definitely see. But it definitely It makes me want to poke my ears up when I start hearing Brotherhood of Steel. Okay, now after the whole system of the revamping, they're going to add in perk loadouts. Now, perk loadouts, I believe, are just exactly what it sounds like. It's just going to be a couple different hands that you can have. Now, your special points are probably going, I think, maybe kind of still stay the same, but where all the different cards that you want to throw down real quick, if you just have a certain build, then you don't have to keep every single card. No, you'll have a hand, and you can just click that hand, and that hand will go up. And if you want this hand, boop, and then you'll still be able to change them out, obviously, one by one. But if you want certain type of builds, I'm guessing they're going to give us like one or two, maybe tops 3 or 4. I don't see them giving us an infinite amount of builds to keep. So that would seem kind of weird. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, different loadouts is what we're max gonna have. And so either way, we'll be able to switch those out. Maybe we'll just have the 2, and you could have your PvP build and your PvE build, or your tank build, and your melee build, or your power armor build, or your scout armor build. I don't know. Just depends on however you're running it, what you're gonna probably be switching in and out for. So hopefully that will add some sort of clarity to that whole system of building, because right now it really is confusing. You kind of, the only way to respec is just level up past 50 and then either pick a point here or there, or pick a perk card here or there, and then I think for me, what I decided to do was just level up to about another 100 levels past 50. Once I got to level 150, then I respec. So I could do that all at once. But for some players, I'm not sure if that's people don't want to wait that long. So, and I don't blame them at all. But for me, it just kind of had the experience of I wasn't focused long term on what I wanted, so my build would just go here and there, everywhere, and just didn't make any sense for a long time. And so because of that, I decided just to wait. And this I think would offer a solution to that problem, at least in some sort of way. Easily customizable builds sounds like a great idea to me. Okay, now camp shelters. This kind of, when I seen this, my head almost exploded. Okay, and let me show you why. Now, I read the whole article, and it there wasn't too much that was really jumping out at me. There was a lot of information in it, about what's to come, but it wasn't anything like groundbreaking, like just most of the stuff was just kind of revealing what they wanted us to know, except for this picture right here. This picture right here kind of freaked me out. I don't know if you guys can see this too well in the video right here. I don't know if I can, but look at this. You see this lamp? Okay, this lamp isn't the part that I'm really worried about. When you're talking about the instancing, instance inside of your camp, I'm thinking like a room or a vault, like a little room underground or whatever. It's a place that you could walk in a door and now you're on the inside of it, right? You're on the inside of something. Let's call it a genie lamp, okay? Because it's essentially what it is, all right? And while you're inside your genie lamp, that's your universe. That's your world. You could do with it as you please. Now, you see, this is obviously a camp object. And that's probably not a camp, because I don't know anybody who has a broom at their camp. Normally when they showcase camp items, they showcase them at the camp. But this is not a camp. Where is this object? And I think this object is inside that instance where you can create your own room. That's what I think. 100% that and what I think that kind of alludes is, imagine being able to pick up items in Appalachia, not just placing them inside of your display case, but literally being able to display them anywhere you wanted in the room. To essentially make your own overseer's house inside an instance in your camp. So that to me is why I got so excited about that, because again, I bring up ESO a lot because it's the company that manages that game works closely with Bethesda. Obviously, they own rights to all that, and so um, they had to learn something. They had to, and that to me seems like the homes that we had in ESO, where if I wanted to, I could take a bench, then I could take a cat and flip that cat upside down and put that cat on that bench. And I welcomed that idea in Fallout 76 to be able to customize essentially uh, my own room. Now, expeditions, I think, are just going to be some of the missions that, some of the long storyline missions that maybe we have, uh, new repeatable missions that we haven't currently had, but now that we do, and they will be, maybe like pretty long and end game type material. You're gonna need to be pretty strong to get through it. So I think that's what that kind is stabbing at. We don't have things like that at end game in Fallout 76 yet, so I'm sure the whole Brotherhood of Steel is really gonna add a lot to that category. Now, season 3 refresh, I think again they're just going to at that moment say, hey guys, we just gave you another DLC. Let's refresh the roadmap and make sure everything is in line with what we are saying here at Bethesda, so you guys don't get confused, when all these videos and everything starts to come out. They're trying to be, again, more transparent with themselves. And again, I welcome that wholeheartedly. These visual aids maybe aren't the biggest way to answer our questions, but at least we're getting some sort of answer from Bethesda at this point. All right. And now, new daily ops. I think that's just going to be, as you can see, that looks like a tunnel with some sort of monster's eyes peering through the tunnel. You can't see the monster, but you can see the eyes, and then you have the little time clock. They're just essentially going to be time trials that get harder and harder, and that probably give out some pretty high tier rewards. I'm guessing you're gonna have to, have your aid, have everything in line as far as your armor and your weapons are concerned, and the amount of ammo. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, time intensive objectives, I think, and so that's what that looks like to me. Dungeons per se, time dungeons, and so it just leads more into the MMO aspect of the game, and I'm loving that. A lot of people don't consider this an MMO; they consider it a light MMO because of it not having much MMO like properties to it, and that is just another weapon in the arsenal to become a high standing, or at least a somewhat of a MMO. It's in the public's opinion. I think for right now, a lot of people don't consider it an MMO. You know what I mean? So that's unfortunate. And I can kind of see where they're coming from. And so now the last part of this breakdown, last but not least, is the Holiday Scorch event. Now, the Holiday Scorch event, as most players already know, is where all these scorched monsters were walking around in Santa Claus, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus outfits, and if you would kill those mobs, you would get a present, and those presents were pretty profitable, and a lot of players went on to save those and duplicate the crap out of them. And so still to this day, you can find yourself some presents out in Appalachia. It's been quite a bit of a problem, as I'm sure most of you know. But for whatever reason, they decided to bring the event back, and I can't wait to see the presents again. It was just a quirky time in Appalachia. Christmas, there was Christmas trees everywhere, and people were having fun. So I'm really excited for them to bring that back to the game. So, guys, this has been the breakdown of the roadmap. I hope you guys found this somewhat informative. If you guys disagree at all on any of the points that I made in this video, please feel free to leave something in the comments. If you just want to have a good old chat about what I said here, don't be afraid to hit me up in the comments either. And, guys, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my content. If you did like it, leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. All right. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name is NSC Schizo with Game Grunts. And as usual, until the next Fallout 76 video, I'm signing out.